All right, today we're diving into something truly wild, the medieval trial by water. It's this terrifying place where religious belief and pure human biology collide. We're going to break down what's actually happening to a person's body during this ordeal and how that brutal reality was somehow seen as the judgment of God himself.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Picture it. You're accused of a crime way back in the Middle Ages. But there's no jury. Your fate is decided by a river. And here's the kicker. To be found innocent, you have to sink. So, could you do it? Could you survive? Well, the answer is a lot more complicated than just holding your breath.
Let's just plunge right into the experience. The second you're thrown into that freezing water, all tied up, your body is just slammed with pure, violent shock. This isn't some calm descent. No, it's a frigid, oxygen-starved explosion in your brain and body.
To really get what's going on, we have to look at the body's instant, completely involuntary reaction. This has nothing to do with willpower or how tough you are. This is all about your deepest, most primal survival reflexes kicking in, whether you want them to or not.
Now, the key thing to understand here is that you have zero control over these 4 steps. That first one, the involuntary gasp for air, that's a reflex you can't stop. And if your head pops above the water for even a second, you immediately start hyperventilating, breathing fast and out of control. That leads right to the breath hold breakpoint. It's that moment your primitive brain just screams, "Breathe!" so loud that your conscious mind has no choice but to obey. And from there, aspiration, actually breathing water into your lungs, is pretty much a done deal.
Oh, and it gets so much worse. While you're under the water, your body is also fighting this immense force called hydrostatic pressure. I mean, it's literally the weight of the water crushing your chest. So every single attempt to hold your breath, every tiny movement of your diaphragm becomes this massive struggle against a force that's squeezing the life out of you.
Okay, so that's the brutal physical side. Now, let's switch gears and look at how people at the time actually understood this. For everyone watching from the riverbank, this wasn't just some person drowning. No way. This was a sacred conversation with God.
You know, the trial by ordeal wasn't some random mob justice. It was a formal, judicial process. The core belief was that God himself would intervene right then and there to show everyone the truth. The outcome wasn't seen as an accident. It was a divine verdict, totally clear and absolute.
And this right here really shows you their mindset. Water was sacred. I mean, it's essential for life. It's used in baptisms. It was seen as this element of pure divinity. So the logic, in a way, made sense to them. This pure substance would physically reject anything impure or sinful. So if you flooded, the holy water was casting you out. You were guilty. If you sank, you were innocent, embraced by the purity of the water. And then, hopefully they'd pull you out in time.
So, we've got these two things happening at once, right? The theological belief system and the absolute biological chaos. So now, let's look at the science that was really deciding who floated and who sank.
This quote from the source material just nails it, doesn't it? Instinctual panic meets theological judgment. The body's desperate, uncontrollable fight to survive is playing out in an arena where it's being judged as a moral failure.
And the clock on this is just terrifyingly fast. Under all that stress, the cold shock, the water pressure, most people would hit that point of no return, that involuntary breakpoint, in about 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds. That's all the time you have before your own body's survival instincts completely betray you.
So, what actually makes a person float? Well, it has absolutely nothing to do with guilt or innocence. Not a thing. It's just physics. It comes down to your body fat percentage, because fat is way more buoyant than muscle. It's about your bone density. And most importantly, it's about how much air is trapped in your lungs.
And this is where it all comes crashing together. We're going to put these two totally conflicting explanations, the divine one and the biological one, right next to each other.
So remember that involuntary gasp for air we talked about? That pure, uncontrollable survival reflex? Well, that single action fills your lungs with air, which, guess what, makes your body more buoyant. On top of that, a person who just naturally has a higher body fat percentage would float more easily anyway. So the body's natural, desperate attempts to stay alive, and even a person's basic body type, were the very things that would get them condemned as guilty in front of their entire community. So when you really boil it all down, the trial by water was never a test of a person's soul. Not really. It was a test of their body fat percentage, their lung capacity, and their ability to fight one of the most powerful survival instincts we have. It was a person's biology that was on trial, not their soul. And all of this leaves us with a fascinating
and maybe kind of unsettling question. Yeah, the medieval water ordeal is an extreme example, for sure. But it makes you wonder, where in our world today might we be mistaking a simple biological or physiological reality for some kind of moral judgment? It's definitely something to think about.